Afternoon. Welcome to KCL Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm Kevin Coachman. Today we're going to talk about KCL balloons and schedules for AutoCAD and napkin sketch. Thanks for joining us live or watching on our YouTube channel. As we do, we'll get started with how to get the software or the latest version of the software. You will go out to our website, kclcad.com. From the website, choose Access KCL. And when you go to KCL BIM CAD Designer, by downloading the software, you get your quick start instructions, but you will get the latest version of KCL BIM CAD Designer and or your Revit add-ins. You would choose install if you're new, modify if you're not new like myself. We will detect your versions of Revit, AutoCAD, whatever you need. The main recommendation is to choose current user, and you'd hit next through those steps. That will give you the latest and greatest KCL. So this is KCL BIM CAD Designer. We're going to talk about balloons and schedules. And to get us started, we're going to go into the balloon settings button right off the bat here. So why do you want to use our balloons? If you use the KCL balloons, we can create schedules, we can create spec books, and we can export to other applications. You do not have to use our balloons. You can use just the equipment blocks and hyperlinks and other tools we have, but if you want to maximize your use of KCL, this is the best way to go. Now, out of the box, under balloon settings, we give you 5 standard balloons that we've done for many years, but know that you can add your own, you can modify. So if you don't like our colors or fonts or scales, you can change that. So I'm going to save it as rectangle. The other area to look is below the CAD previews. There's a balloon, yes, no, or only. You want to make sure that's on yes. And when you click an item and say load in AutoCAD, you will get the piece of equipment, and then you will get the tag or balloon. And you can see I had hexagons in here, but I chose to use rectangle now. If I double click on it, I can see the attribute values. I can also turn on a layer for the text underneath the balloon 801 if I want to show that while I'm working. We did not intend for this to be printed, but it's there for your reference. So you can always turn 801 off as you want to. But you can see here, easy shape. But if you want different colors, different fonts, let us know. Reach out to us in KCL. You can hit the contact us button. We'll help you modify your balloon. If you already have a balloon the way you like it, you can email that to us. And again, at no additional fee, we'll help customize it. So the very first thing I want everyone to realize is you can change our balloons so that it's not the KCL standard color layer font, and you can be flexible with that. When you add your own customized balloon, that's part of your private cloud. So this one has a leader line on it. You don't have to create the balloon for every user. You create it once for your KCL account. It's in your company cloud. So I have one called Demo Mark 30. It's only KCL Coachman people see it. You also, in that same screen, balloons and settings, have the ability to change your units or the scale factor. If I change to millimeters, then my scales change as well. You have a couple of places you can do this. One is in balloon settings. The other is I can change my units below the previews. That does not let me change the scale, just the general units. But if I change to millimeter, I pick an item, you're going to see we're now displaying everything in millimeters and that way we'll scale it up when you send it to AutoCAD. So I'm going to set it back to inches. Come back up here to the balloon area. If you have full AutoCAD, you can tell us what layer you want the equipment piece or the balloon or the schedule. I can type in any names I want. KCL will automatically put the balloon or the equipment or the schedule on that layer. That does not change the layers inside the blocks. If I go to look in KCL and hit show full screen, these are my layers. No matter where I put the block, if I put it on 0, put it on KCL equip, the inside block layers do not change. Main reasons to preset layers in KCL is you're using paper space or layout tabs, and that makes it easier to turn things on and off. You also have the ability to prompt for item number. So if you want to number it while you're laying it out, you tell KCL prompt, you can type in a number. Do you want the balloons to be rotated? You turn that on. Do you want KCL to automatically number? We'll just keep incrementing with or without a prefix from whatever number you start. So there's several balloon settings that can affect how you use KCL. If you're watching this webinar and you don't use our balloons, that's okay. My suggestion is then turn the balloon off. If I have the balloon off and I insert by clicking the A, I get my piece of equipment and no balloon. If you're not going to use our balloons, why load it and have to erase it later? That's really the main point we want to express there. Use the balloons. We're going to do schedules in a minute. We're going to look at edit balloons and the export commands. So once you get, I had that sample drawing up here. Once you have your items in the drawing, you can use KCL to edit the information. Manually, you can always in AutoCAD double click. You can change item numbers, manufacturer, any information you want. But if you use KCL and you hit edit balloons, we'll read the drawing, build a window, and on that window, you can now make changes. So I'm going to move it off to the side a little bit. If you got multiple monitors, good idea to put on a different screen. But when I click an item, it zooms that item to the middle of my screen. You can see here, I had a number 3 for my plan view, and I had a number 3 for the elevation. Some users are tagging both plan and front views. That's up to you, but that's why it shows twice in the drawing. So this lets me scroll through. I've got a filter at the top. If I said, show me the LTI items, doesn't matter what the number is, it just shows me those. If I said, show me all the 26s. So if you have a list of a few hundred pieces, you can type in part of the model number and we'll filter the list so it's a little bit easier to work with or find. If you don't want to work with the entire drawing, maybe I really only want to work on my plan view. I'm zooming around the drawing so I can show it to you. One of the other options on the edit balloon screen is load selection instead of entire drawing. And I can say, hey, I really only want to work with these items. Now when my list is built, I'm not going to see all the duplicates. I'm going to see some, but there's only one number 3. This drawing happens to have several shelves in it, so I see the number 1 multiple times. So how you work with the balloons is really up to you. Most people like to work with the entire drawing, but if you don't, you can load selection. Now, once I get to the screen, what do I want to do? Maybe I want to change the item number. I'm going to change all the 1s to 1x. I change the item number, click the apply to all with the same number, and hit update. And you'll see KCL zoom around. You're going to see it change to an ellipse because that was the current format that I had set up. Okay, so you can change the shape, the style or scale one at a time or all the items. This is a command here. If I said change everything to rectangle and hit update, it would go through everything in this list and change it to a rectangle. If I just want to work with one item at a time, I click on the item. There's my number 6. I can change any of these fields, or I can hit edit utilities. This is where the KCL edit balloon command shines. You can see this window with information. I have electrical, I have gas. It shows me there's 2 connections. If I were to manually double click this balloon, I have the information, but it's kind of in a coded format that I have to decode. Again, you can edit this manually if you want to, but we're trying to give you the ability to say, hey, you know what? I need to change that. Should be 8 amps on the first one and 8 amps on the second one. And I hit update balloon. Now this balloon, go back to that manual looking way of the data here. I can see I've got my 8 in there and my 8 there. So KCL will add or edit to the attribute data using our nice English way to do it here. Find an item, click on it. There's 25 right in the middle of the screen, edit utilities. If it's not there, I can add to it. If it is there, I can modify it and hit update balloon. And because I have it changing shape, you're seeing it change the shape when I update. So edit balloons is better, faster, and more powerful than it was before, where you can update all the items at once. That's something that comes in once in a while. Hey, how do I change all my balloons? Hit edit balloons. You take your selection, change it to the shape you want, and hit update to all. Nice and easy. So once you have your balloon the way you want it, you edit the data the way you need it, electric, plumbing, whatever information. Let's go back and turn off that layer 801 because I don't want to show that text under the balloon. Then I'm ready to run a schedule. So first is get the equipment and the balloons in, edit the data as you need, and now you're ready to go. So schedules can be run in AutoCAD LT, AutoCAD, or Napkin Sketch. You can output them to either AutoCAD or Excel or Napkin Sketch if you're using that. So your method of creating the schedule is always this screen, but what your source data is or where you send it to is up to you. How do you want to export, AutoCAD or Excel? I'm going to start with templates. KCL will give you a half a dozen or so standard templates from a short equipment list to a budget report, as it says Excel only. I can modify this. This just shows me all the possible columns that I have. If I want to add manufacturer name, I hit the plus, model, hit the plus. If I want to change the order, I can move it up or down. That's how my schedule will look. I can save this as my own template. And now this is part of my company cloud. Anyone can get it. I can say entire drawing or selected balloons. So I'm going to go back to my drawing. I just want to do it of the floor plan to start. So I'm going to use selected balloons. When I hit output to AutoCAD, I don't have to pick one at a time. I can just window that area. It doesn't matter if you get equipment in there. When it's ready, it's going to return the schedule. So I've got an item number with no number. I've got my 1X's. You can see quantities. If you can see here, the text doesn't fit, then I either have to manually edit or I go back to KCL, generate the schedule, and on the equipment category, I can click edit and let's make it bigger. We'll go to 4 units instead of 3. I noticed when I ran the schedule, there's other special options under output options. I had a repeat item number at the end of the row checked. You can put values to uppercase. You can change colors for the lines or text. So I'm going to turn off repeat item number, hit OK, output to AutoCAD again, select the items, and you can have multiple schedules in one drawing. That's up to you. 4 wasn't big enough. So either I'd have to go in and edit my balloon data or make it 4.5. So it's pretty easy and quick to generate multiple schedules. I'm going to go in and do just a couple more. Generate schedule. This time I'm going to grab an electrical schedule. You can see different electrical fields. I could take Hertz out if I don't want to show it by just hitting the minus or exclude. Output options. I'm going to say skip row and missing utility. I don't want a sink. I don't want shelving. I only want the items with electrical data. Okay, that. Let's generate again selected balloons because I don't need the elevations right now. And we'll place this below the other two for your reference. So you can kind of see without zooming in, there were a lot of items before, 34 items. And this schedule for utilities is much shorter because it's only including the items that have utility data. So it's a really easy way to filter and only show what you want. Again, that goes into some of the detail. The main generate schedule screen allows you to load templates, save templates, delete, reconfigure the order to the schedule. If you don't want the schedule as one block, you can tell KCL to explode it when we insert it. If I want to use entire drawing, great. I'm going to turn off that skip row and missing utilities and say, let's go to Excel this time. Give it a name and a location. This is really handy if you're working on preliminary drawings. You can now generate an Excel schedule with plumbing and electric and other data, and then email that off to someone. It should come out pretty close to that AutoCAD looking schedule. The difference is I said include everything this time. It didn't skip the items that had no utility. So that's how you can customize and make changes. If I want to generate a schedule and I said budget report, that's going to put in a list price field. Otherwise, it's the same idea that we had before. You can edit the balloons to put list price in. So when you get it out in Excel, you're going to be ready to go to generate a budget report. There's a lot of little tweaks here under output options. Again, just running through, you can change your headers, skip items. If there's no utility data, repeat the item number at the end. Do you want your size and horsepower to be fractions or decimals? All the text uppercase. Some of our users like to have a dash instead of an empty box. You check that, you'll get a dash whenever there's no data. There's a term we use called multi-block schedule. If you have a large schedule and you want it to do 50 items at a time, you can tell it, or here I can say 15, and then move on from there. Or I can pick the top and bottom for each block or divide it into 2 or 3 sections. So I'm going to do one right now here. Let's not explode that. Let's go back to equipment list. And we're doing the entire drawing for this example. It's going to include my elevation tags. But now you'll see what a multi-block schedule is. It automatically divided it into 2 columns as best as it could. Instead of 2 columns, I could say 20 items and then move over. Or I can pick the height that I want. So there's quite a few options under Generate Schedule. We're happy to set up private webinars. If you have detailed questions, you can use the Contact Us at the top. Send us a note, hey, I need to get into balloons or schedules a little more detail. We can do a Zoom, a GoToMeeting, link up to your computer, and kind of help get you up and running a little bit faster. But customizing these schedules, put a little bit of time into making all the column widths, what categories, fields do you want? And then it's saved, and you can have as many templates as you want. I need to go in and clean up a few. I've got a few too many samples. So that's a big reason to use the balloons, because if you have the balloon data, we can generate schedules. We can then generate spec books. We can export to AQ, and that all comes from the balloons. So we recommend you use our balloons. We'd like to see you use the schedules. We want to save you time and effort. If you need some additional customization, you can let us know. There are limits to what we can do, but hopefully we can make you a little more productive. At the end of these webinars, which we're hitting the end, I'd like to remind everyone you can click the YouTube button in the upper right corner of KCL, and we post the Tech Tip Tuesday webinars, and we replace them every few months in case we have new features, give you a fresh look. These are recent ones here in the last month. If I click the video link, you can see they go back balloons and schedules from a couple months ago, the group screen, napkin, sketch, Revit, and so on. So please make use of our resources, make use of our Tech Tip Tuesdays. Let us know how we can help you be more productive with KCL. Thank you again for joining us today.